For me, first of all, Chris Rock as a detective was very hard to believe. They did a lot of telling and not a lot of showing, if you ask me. Hi, my name is Joan, and on this channel I make videos that are related to helping you achieve your endless creative potential. Those videos include photography, videography, film and TV analysis, and visuals. In this video, I will be reviewing the movie Spiral. This movie came out over the weekend and I decided to take myself to the movies and watch something new, and I was very intrigued by the trailer only because I thought Chris Rock didn't really fit, but we'll talk about that. And I went with my boyfriend and I just want to share my general thoughts of the film and my little problem with Zeke Banks and give you my rating overall. So to start off, the general plot / story of the film is that Chris Rock plays the character of Zeke Banks, a detective in the South Metro Police Station who is tasked to solve these crimes against the police, murders essentially, that's in the style of the old Jigsaw killer from the Saw franchise. But we all know coming out of the gate that this is clearly a copycat killer. So he's been tasked to find the killer. And honestly, I think this movie could have been a lot better. I think to start out with the plot, the plot is a serial killer is killing cops and a detective has to solve it. I think it's pretty basic. You know, you got your standard detective thriller and you have the angle of a serial killer that's a copycat. And I think that aspect of the film was actually not too bad. I think it was keeping me going a little bit only because I just want to figure out like what are they really hiding and like what is the big motive, you know, out of all of it. I think the story itself was all over the place, very convoluted, a lot of, you know, plots going this way, and you have your Zeke Banks characterization and his problem with authority, his dad, other cops not trusting him, and I think it was just kind of told all over the place. It was not really cohesive and it took a second to follow along. And then when it came down to the cinematography, I think it was pretty decent. I think there were some good static shots, some good dynamic shots, a good following of the imagery at least. Like when it comes to the style and the color grading, very saturated, very, you know, like nitty gritty, like, you know, it's the middle of the heat, it's in the heat wave, so everyone's sweating, tensions are high. I think the cinematography does do well when it's conveying that aspect of the story. When it comes down to the characters,
there were a lot of hit and miss.
A lot of hit and miss. Personally, my favorite was William Shank, the detective that was assigned to Zeke Banks by his Captain Angie. I don't remember her last name, so we're gonna refer to her as Hermione Lodge from now on, okay? So basically, this whole film is just following Zeke trying to catch this killer, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but I had some major problems with the characterization of Zeke Banks. So my problem with Zeke Banks, played by Chris Rock, is that he's supposed to be this hotshot detective who only works alone and doesn't work well with people, and he's a really good crime solver, but they did a lot of telling and not a lot of showing, if you ask me. A little spoiler, but the beginning of the film when Chris Rock's character is being introduced, he's robbing a bank. Now, he's supposed to be undercover, but you don't really know that as the viewer only until after his cover is blown. But like, I don't know, it seemed like he could work really well with the group that he had. He was running the show. Everyone was looking to him for leadership, so I couldn't really believe that. And then on top of that, Chris Rock was already at a number like 9, like 10 minutes out of the movie, 10 minutes out of the gate. So to me, it's like, if you're supposed to be this cop that was supposed to be a hot shot on his own, I don't know, I guess it wasn't really radiating the same energy. Like, I guess a good example would be Chris Tucker's character from Rush Hour. I mean, clearly he was working alone. Things kind of got out of hand with other cops and he had to improvise. Now that makes sense, but not for Chris Rock's sake. Also, his whole dynamic with his father, played by Samuel Jackson, who is the chief of the police department, I didn't really like. It's like they were always like all out of like a 10, and it was just kind of like, where is the subtlety? I think for me as a actor or seeing potential actors or directors going to different realms. I think subtlety is always key, and Chris Rock did not have that subtlety. On top of that, he is a comedic actor. He does comedy. So a lot of this film was kind of sprinkled with it here and there, and sometimes I think it was unintentional. Like when Chris Rock was having his outbursts, which are shown in the trailers, I couldn't even take him seriously then. That's why I went to go see the movie in the first place, because I'm like, let me give Chris Rock a fighting chance. But it just came out funny. His delivery did not make it any better. His delivery was always comedic. And even some of the writing in this film, some of these conversations just felt like I feel like they would happen between men, but at the same time they sounded so inauthentic. I didn't really like it. And the characterization needed work. The script needed work. And by the end, when the killer is revealed, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the ending, but everything to get to that point was very hard to stay in. It was a very, very hard to stay into that rat, essentially. And by the end of it, I was shocked, but am I excited for a sequel? Not really. So my overall rating of the film would definitely be a 6 out of 10. And if I were you, I would definitely wait for it to go to streaming before you watch it. I don't think it's really worth seeing it in the theaters. Personally, I saw it on $5 Tuesdays at Marcus, so wasn't gonna pay full price. And you know, it just left a lot to be desired. If you like the content of this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Spiral. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? How do you feel about Chris Rock's character? Was there too much comedy in this film? I genuinely want to know your thoughts. If you like more content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button where I post every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.